Hello and welcome to What is Your Soul Trying to Tell You? I'm Michelle Wright, your host, and I'm here today to do a little bit of teaching, pull some cards for the collective, and pull some cards for individuals who have put questions either in the chat or for anyone who has sent me a question through my Instagram DM or by email at leadwithyoursoulpodcast@gmail.com. So just so wonderful to be here. As you can see, I am still in a wonderful Mexico, enjoying the sun, enjoying just the beauty that this country has to offer. Being from Canada and Alberta, it's been quite cold and icy and slick up there. So they've had some snow, and it's been beautiful to be down here. And we go on wonderful hikes on the Boca Trail, or we sit at our beach and swim. That's our new exercise while we're here, is doing swimming in the ocean. It's harder to walk around here unless you're on the Boca Trail or you're in town. So that's what we do, and we're just enjoying it. It's been an incredible experience for both my husband and myself. And as we've moved into this part of our lives, so moving into retirement has been a transition for both of us. And in this retirement, I'm also building this business. And I knew that I wanted to start doing this so in 2017 it started, where I just moved into learning more specific modalities and got so excited about how I could help other women connect with their own souls, connect with a deeper understanding of themselves. And so we move into retirement, and I moved from teaching is what I did. As I was a principal, I was a division principal, and I loved serving. I just loved serving. I loved teaching. I loved connecting with my teachers and principals. It was a passion and a joy. And then COVID hit, and there was a realignment and a shift. And all of a sudden, I was moving in another direction. And I felt the misalignment. And it was incredible to me. I had 27 years going in one direction with fierce passion, creativity, connection, and joy. And all of a sudden, I was shifting and moving in another way. And I think for many people during COVID, that reset in COVID, and there were huge astrology shifts happening at that time. It really realigned us in a different way. And my realignment was actually moving away from what I was doing in education, then moving with my husband in his business. And I worked with him in his business for 2 to 3 years. And that very working with him for 2 to 3 years helped him prepare to sell his own business. So then last year, November 30th, the year is coming up, we sold the business and moved into full-time retirement. And I'd been working on building this business, working on honing my craft. We did the 3 hers. So I worked with my other soul sisters, Charlene and Suzanne, and we were spiritual explorers, really trying to figure out how to listen to our own souls, how to connect and listen to our intuition. And we did that together, and we continue to support each other in that. And so I've moved through this, and now this is the first time that we've been here in Mexico for a month. Actually 5 weeks, even over a month. And at first it was interesting because we did travel this year, and in our traveling, because you're always busy, you're always doing, you're always moving. So we weren't sitting in one place at one time. you actually have this feeling of guilt. I talk about it with my children. I talk about this guilt, like you work your entire life to get towards retirement, and then all of a sudden there's a guilt because you're not in deep service. You're not in going to work every day. And now your busyness is around your own passions, your own joys, your own interests. What is it that you would love to do? And it's in here you recognize, wouldn't you want to live a life of that? Wouldn't you want to live a life where you're following your passions and your joys? And truthfully, my husband and I did. And so it's exploring other ones. I'm building my business, serving women who are in the midst of transformation in their lives, because I've had those in mind. I've been divorced 2 different times and remarried a third to my current husband. And since I married with him, then we have an amazing story of blending our 2 children together. So we have 4, blending a child that he had when he was younger, blending with a grandchild that we had come into our lives, and then with that other family. And the choice of blending, the choice of love, the choice of moving forward and recognizing it's a choice. And it's interesting because I do have people saying, Michelle, I don't understand. Like, how can this happen? How can you move through this in this way? And when I say, but it is a choice, I see my locus of control. I see my ability of things I cannot control and what I can. And I can control my thoughts. I control my emotions. I control my connections. And this has even taken a deeper spiritual road as I've gotten into the different spiritual modalities. And I was fully immersed within Catholicism and recognizing God at that right, God, creator, through that avenue. And it's been interesting. My mother, who brought me this way, she brought me towards Reiki. She brought me towards crystals and angel cards. And she was a devout Catholic as well. And she found them connecting really well. And I found myself even connecting deeper with source, universe, God, spirit, however you name that feeling. I also see it if you watch Star Wars, the Force, or in the Avatar movies, Aye. I think that's how they say it. Not sure. But it is that connection. And I found that as much as I do all of my spiritual modalities and I work with them, the more that I do that, looking for the answers from outside of me, the deeper I get into looking within me. And that's why I have this YouTube about what does your soul want to tell you? Because it really is about connecting with your soul. And the other day, I just had a profound channeling. We were supposed to, yesterday actually, go hiking. Just woke up and I just wasn't feeling like going on that hike on the Boca Trail. And I just, said to my husband, I really would just love some time just to sit today. And it was from there, from listening to an inspired speaker, that I just started having downloads. I had channeling, and that's what you get, those all the time when you create space for them. So I started looking and saying, oh, if I wanted to write a book about my experiences, if I wanted to do a retreat about these experiences, how is it that I want to work with the women that I'm calling in? How is it that I want to help create a framework that they can connect with, that they can jump in? And that's what was downloaded. And it's in its infant form. It's in its beginning thinking. And that's what happens with downloads, because you play with it, you understand it, and you know there's a truth, and then you continue to reflect and allow different thoughts to come in. And so I recognized, so I can see myself doing this in retreats, and each one having their own course or the framework within a course by teaching the different spiritual modalities. And for me, different spiritual modalities are so important because it's like I've said with the idea of the elephant, the blind monks touching the elephant, each spiritual modality touches that different truth or that different aspect of the elephant, that different aspect of my soul. And I remember myself or see myself reflected back to me through a different way. In here, I use cards. That's what I use. I use oracle cards and tarot cards. But in my soul blueprint offering, I use astrology. I use human design, and it's recognizing and seeing yourself through your natal chart and different transitions that are happening in your life today. In going deeper as well with energy work, and healing yourself through energy work is powerful and helpful, I find. For myself is recognizing when do I need to release. And I've seen that in health scares. I've seen that in the book, right? It says your body keeps score. This idea of what's happening in our life, this dis-ease, also from my mom and her Reiki, comes in this energy healing that comes in. And we're energetic beings and we hang on to it, and that hanging on to it creates health problems. And so how can we heal from that? See, different spiritual modalities, type in different aspect. Oh, I am not sure how to say your name, Yeho Pedro Costa, but I would love to do a reading for you. Okay. Is there a specific question you have? Or are you more looking to just have an open reading? Just let me know. I'm going to just go through here. And I'm sorry that my Spanish is limited, so I'm not sure how to say your name. But just so you know, I send you. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got my Lightseer Tarot deck, and I'm just tuning into you. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just connecting just my energy with your energy, my energy with your spirit team, and just wondering for you right now at this time, a personal question and a general, but the personal is this: will I re-encounter people from my family, including cousins and uncles, soon? Okay. Okay, so, and when I read that question, I'm assuming that there's been a dissension or a disconnect with your family. Okay, so talk about that. Are you going to be able to connect with your cousins in your family? Okay. It is interesting. So one of the things that you have is you. So I pulled 3 cards. I'm going to show them to you. We have the Empress, and this Empress card is in protection. So I'm going to let you know. And then we have the King of Cups in protection. And then we have the Hierophant that is upright. So different card readers read tarot cards in reverse in different ways. For myself, I have really come to understand that the energy of this card is present. So it is this card that is there. And so then I lean into, what is it that you, is the energy coming in? Is the energy going out? Or is there a block? And with the Empress card is the major arcana. So the major arcana is the hero's journey. It has a higher weight in this reading. The first card and the last card are both major arcana, and they have a higher weight. And the Empress is all about the cornucopia. So this is all about creating and birthing in this world what you want. And it's about recognizing that you have the ability to create what you want. So this card was in protection. So this card is asking us, what is it that is challenging? And I see it as a challenge. What is it that's challenging to create what you want in your life, to meet your cousins, your uncles, and everyone? What is the challenge? Because the Empress card means, in so many ways, it's in your power and control. I now have Judith Orloff. She has the surrender card. It says, surrender to spirit. So you've done everything you can to achieve your goal, and now you need to surrender. So if you're one that believes in God, if you believe in spirit, the universe, you need to really set this intention. I want to connect with my family. I want to have a relationship. And what does that look like? And you're going to get nudges. So for you, as you listen to this, what is it, the nudge? What is the barrier that's there? And is it a barrier that you can overcome? Is it a barrier that you need to heal from? Is it a barrier that they need to heal from? And I'm getting a deep sadness. And I think this is where the King of Cups comes in. It was in protection. And this is you tuning into your own emotions. What about your connection with family and cousins and connecting is about you personally understanding clearly what is you want from them? What is it you want for yourself? I think sometimes we have, I'm just going to use perhaps my own family. I have a vision of a family that I want. And actually, I started a new job a week ago, and those last months have been a huge change in my personal life because I was fired from a job and I had to resort now relates to another question. Okay. Okay, so it's resorting with another question. So when it comes into, so what is it? Because it's this emotion, and there's an emotion that's happening in here. So whether it's seeing your family, now you have a new job and you're not with them, and maybe it's not about connection with family, it's about connection with yourself then. But there is an emotional element. So the King of Cups is all about your intuition. It's all about your feelings, and it's all about relationships. And it was in protection. So what is it? My question to you is, what is it that you are not loving about yourself as you take this new job? What is it? There is a disconnect. There is a disconnect that is saying, because I've had to do this, I'm not with them. I am not achieving what I want to achieve. I'm not living up to what I think that I should be doing. And I think in here, I'm just even going to pull a clarifying card for you with Colette Baron-Reid's Animal Spirit deck. Because in here, what you want to be doing is you want to, basically, I feel that the distance started when okay, yeah, well, yes, if that makes sense, right? So it does make sense. You feel disconnected, that the distance started when you called your family garbage on Facebook in 2022. So in your feelings, Why is it you want to be connected with them? And is the reason because you think you should? And should is a feeling of, this is what the rest of the world says I should do. I should be connected to them. So when you say you called them garbage, sometimes in families, and that's where I was talking about my own family, sometimes you have to put in healthy boundaries. And so you being clear about what type of relationship. So the king really understands their own emotions, understands their own, that they're very clear on what type of relationship, how it meets their own soul journey, how they can work to connect with other people. And I see you've given me and by coincidence, a year later, in June 2023, my parents were in a car accident, which had an impact on my family as well. And I was alone at home with just 3 people. Asked me how I was, and now I understand. Okay, so perhaps in this, you're talking about that disconnection. So you're talking about that disconnection. So and that is what happens when we disconnect and put boundaries. So then maybe another question is, and that's where you have to really sort out for yourself, what is it you're looking for? Are you looking to be part of a community? And we can be part of a community with our family. If it's not healthy for us, then we have to put in healthy boundaries. And sometimes that brings us grief and sadness. Or do you need to look at creating your own community, your own family? It doesn't mean that you can't love your parents who had a car accident, or people reaching out and that's important to you, because when things happen in our family, it's very important that we can share. But in the boundaries, you can share to the level that it serves yourself. And this is a difficult piece because culturally, society, our family comes first, blood comes first. But if perhaps we are not being treated appropriately, or maybe we didn't treat them appropriately, I'm not sure which one, because then that's a different thing. You need to look at doing amends. So King of Cups, what is the energy? It's saying, Beaver Spirit, lay a solid foundation. So you need to start building, and this is where the Hierophant comes in. If you want this, so it's going back to the Empress and saying, you can do this. You can build what you want to create. If you want to reconnect with this family and you want this because you were at home when the accident happened and you realized the importance of being connected, you realized that this was something that was important to you. And therefore, your boundaries that you are creating, saying, not now, you're garbage, you're not for me, you're rethinking that. And we can do that in our lives. We can rethink things. And so it's saying to you, lay a solid foundation. What is it you want? Be very clear. Do you want a relationship with no boundaries? Or do you want a loving relationship with boundaries? Are there, with the King of Cups, are there relationships, emotions that you need to heal, that you need to mend? And the Hierophant really talks about that there is a very specific way to do that, right? You go, you talk about it, we ask for forgiveness, we share with them, we recognize that it takes time. If we want this to rebuild a relationship, it's not going to be the same it was before. It can actually be better. But you have to decide if that's what you want. You have to decide if what brought you to the point of disconnecting is still going to trigger you later? Or have you moved past that in your life? Because if you've moved past it and now you recognize the value of being in connection with a larger family and being connected when people are in trouble, like an accident, a car accident, and you need now your network of people, then you're answering it for yourself. You're saying, yes, I need this. Yes, I need to move forward. Yes. And you have to go through the Hierophant is a card, and it's talking about, even at a higher level, the way to move through it step by step. And it's saying there's a structure in place within your family of how you reconnect. And it's saying if you want to reconnect, then you can easily reconnect. And, well, easily, but you have to go through these steps. And that's where each part of these steps, okay, and you said things between me and my family are better now, but not the same anymore. And I do feel better, but sometimes I wish I could never say what I said back in the day. Do you know what? Which is a true. So I hear you. That is a very true feeling. And I think part of is recognizing that we have to love ourselves even when we made mistakes. So you might have done it out of anger. You might have done it out of hurt. You might have done it out of not feeling, I'm getting the sense of not really being seen and heard, and not being appreciated for who you were, which was different from what they wanted you to be at that time. And this is what happened. And sometimes through time, we then feel better about ourselves. The King of Cups, we feel better about ourselves. We know who we are and our emotions. And so this is where the Hierophant says, you have a process in your family. You have a process in your culture. You have a process to say how you're sorry and move through the forgiveness. And you bring up, by the cards you got, you see if I'm harsh on myself that much besides judgment from people. Well, and that's where you have to kind of discern, is this you not forgiving yourself moving forward? Is it you creating a barrier because you can't forgive yourself? You can't believe that they would forgive you, and there's disconnection. And sometimes, like when I lean in and I see it for you, I see that there are still steps to take. And some of it is, it's not going to be the way it was before. And that's hard. It's hard because we can never go back to what was. We can never unbake a cake. We can never make, put all the ingredients for guacamole, and then at the end of it say, well, now I'm going to put it back so that it is the avocado, it's the onion, it's the cilantro. You can never undo that. We can only move forward. And I invite you to do two things. I invite you to forgive yourself. Start really putting your hand on your heart and start looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, what do I appreciate? What do I appreciate about you? It's hard to come back when we've had anger and we know people are going to judge us. It's hard. It is an extremely vulnerable thing to do. And you did that. And you did it in service to other people. There was a need. You were coming, you were connecting, and you want to broaden that. So that means you have to share this vulnerability and you have to ask. And sometimes it's asking these people if you feel the judgment from someone else. You are right, especially on steps to do, because it's easy to live our life, but it's easy to forget to forgive ourselves and love ourselves. I have a second question. It is very true. It's hard. It's hard work. Yeah. So you can which is really okay. Yeah, you want to ask me about the job you were fired from. It is really hard to forgive yourself. And this is the Sacred Rebels deck. So while you're typing in the other one about your job, about you were fired, overall, the message is listen to your truth. So with your family, you have to really be truthful to yourself, truthful to the situation, and listen to your truth. Your truth might be, it's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to ask for forgiveness. It's hard that it's different. And how am I growing because of this? There's another belief that I have, which is things don't happen to us, they happen for us. So how did this event help you? And it's always moving us closer to our soul. It's always moving us closer to loving ourselves the way we are created to be. And we have the strongest judgment about ourselves. And then the more harshly we judge ourselves and our self-talk is to ourselves, actually, we are more harsh to those outside of us. So start with that deep self-forgiveness. Listen to your truth. Your truth is you want to forgive yourself. You want to be forgiven. You want to forgive those around you who might have ostracized you. So start with yourself. Start with your own locus of control. You have control over you and your thinking. Okay, your next card, your next question is, what does my ex-mates from the resort feel about me after the unfortunate situation I've been through, though it was also my fault? So for me, I don't read about other people because that just energetically is a piece, but I can read for you. I can read through you. So for you, what does his words mean for you, right? Because that's an important piece. If it's your ex-mate, my question is, it's interesting because your ex-mate, I feel people maybe don't talk to me because they feel they don't want to embarrass me that much in terms of that past situation. Okay, so let's find about you. So you're wondering, this is about your mate. This is about you within this relationship, and then other people not wanting to talk to you because of that. Okay. So what's really interesting for you? This is powerful. So I use a different tarot deck in case we get the same ones coming up. And so you have two more major arcanas. First of all, you had the Tower. So the Tower card, I'm just reading the situation. When what I did was wrong back at the old job, though Andre would threaten me, harass me at the job, following me to the parking lot. Okay. So the Tower moment. So in tarot, the Tower moment, it's a major arcana. So this is very important to recognize. Tower moments come into our lives like this. So it's the picture of a tower and a lightning bolt. It's something you cannot predict. It's something that happens, but it happens for you. At the time, it creates chaos. It creates self-doubt. It creates moments of deep, dark feelings and challenge. And we need, and that Andre called me trying to be HR and I had to report because after everything as a revenge was too much and off limits. Right. So sounds like from a Tower moment, you needed to get out of there because you were not safe. But the Tower is here because it's really asking you, a tower, everything crumbles for your purpose. And it asks you, what is it that you want to keep? Because the tower crumbles and now you just have these rocks, these ruins. What do you want to rebuild? What do you want to keep? So this whole situation, from your mate, from Andre, from all of this, it happened to you because you have to rebuild. And you need to set up and be very clear about what is it as you're moving into this next job, this next relationship, the relationships you have with family or someone else. And it's the emperor, and the emperor is in protection. And this is your challenge for you, because this comes in. The emperor is a major arcana, and the major arcana of the emperor is knowing who you are and standing in your own power and being very clear who you are, what you think like, what you look like, how you move. And you're going to do it based on your heart, your mind, your soul, your goals. And you're going to make those decisions based internally. And then you will respond from those with kindness, dignity, and respect to those around you. So the people that are not in your space in a good way, you're going to put up really clear boundaries and saying, this isn't inappropriate. I don't want this. I do not have to take this. And I am going to move on. And this is for you to understand that you have a right to feel safe, to feel protected. And what is it you want to create for you in your life? Because a tower moment happens to us so that we can let stuff go and only bring forward what we need. So it says, yes, I was suspended, but looks like this was destined to make me reflect on the situation. I was the only gay at my section in the resort in the day, so I felt there was a bit of judgment those last months, and I still think it because I was very happy for a long time. There's mates there who are gone and are still working, but I'll never forget. Well, that's good. Keep those relationships. And that's where this is what the Emperor card is talking about. So it's talking about you're saying, I think it was because I was gay, and I think that this is why it happened. Someone then started doing these things to me. And you're right. And it's recognizing this is who you are. And you have to love who you are and embrace who you are. You don't have to share who you are with everyone. And what I mean is, we have people in our lives that we want that are trustworthy. So the things that I share, even online, the things that I share in my life, I share with a purpose. I share to people I trust. And that's what I'm saying for you. If it is important that you share and you embody yourself as a gay individual and being proud of that, loving of that, and embodying that. And that's what, because the King of Wands is a person. This is about fire, passion, creativity, what lights you up. And it's saying you have to really embody what lights you up. Now, the hard piece about this is you have no control over what other people believe or think. And so this is where the tower happens for you, because in that situation, maybe you were unsafe. Maybe you need to go through this and really learn to love yourself and embody who you are, and therefore find a new job and figure out how to navigate this in your new understanding and love of self. And you say, I'm now happy at new job, which I don't have experience, but still I've been learning with more respectful people. I try to be quiet a lot this time because the new mates are all new for me. And that's very normal. So when we looked at in the other deck, like, how do you move forward? What does this look like? It is very normal to move forward until you can trust people. That is a normal way. And recognize that there's going to be some people that you will connect with, and there'll be others you won't. There will be some people that are full of integrity and you can connect with them more deeply. And there will be other people that are not full of integrity, and they will do things, if you give them information, to harm you. So part of your learning is recognizing and navigating this world, knowing who you are, and only allowing the people into your heart that deserve to be there. And recognizing that the other people you treat with dignity, respect, kindness, and you work with them in a professional and collegial way. And for yourself, so I'm just going to go back because this is what I'm getting. For you, this tower moment of losing this job, it sounds like at the same time, losing these mates, losing this boyfriend, for you was so devastating. And it really was. And it is. And you have to take care of yourself through that. And you have to recognize the pain that was. And you have to do things that nurture and take care of you. And at the same time, it's saying to you, you need to embody who you are, because the Creator, God, universe, however you use that word, however you connect, loves you and created you. We know that. We know that you, specifically you, were given your DNA, your spirit, and you're here to be you and to uncover who this is, who you are. And I'm just reading this again. My biggest problem through many years was the temperance, and now I'm 25 years old. Now I see my enemy as my own temperance, and I bring the good that I brought at my last job, also my smile. I remember when I got the official decision, I wasn't going back to the resort. I started from my birthday to June, which was the day when the disaster happened. I was heartbroken. Yeah. And so take care of yourself in your broken heart. Take care of yourself within the sadness, and recognize that there is grief and there's healing and there's letting go, and recognize there's seasons. I call them seasons. There's seasons where I'm going to be more outwards, and there's seasons where I'm taking care of myself and I'm more inwards. And it doesn't mean that a season is not because I'm not as so it would be here, I'm sure, in the dry season, things that all the greenery isn't as bright. Everything kind of dims a bit. And it's because there isn't as much nutrients at that time. And it's recognizing when it's almost hibernating, that know which season you're in. And you might be now in like a spring season where now you've got a new job and it's like new plants just starting to grow. And you have to be in new beginnings. We have to be so kind, so gentle. And it is good that things are going well and you're starting in a good way. And who is it that you want to be? Who is it that you, as you look in the mirror, the relationships you want to have, who is it? And do it from your heart, your soul, what you want in your life, not what you think everybody else on the outside wants you to be. And that's the hardest journey of all. It is the hardest journey, but it's one worth living. It's one worth connecting to, and it's one worth going through. And now I try to bring the best I did on the last job in this new one. And I thank God, the aliens, especially the spirits and the angels, for having a new job in a short period of time. See, isn't that beautiful? That is beautiful. And it's that belief. So I live a life in which I believe that God, universe, is here with me and sending me messages and helping me grow. And when things like tower moments like this happen to me, I am first recognize how hard it is to go through. And so I'm kind and gentle with myself. And then I go through that. What am I here to learn? What am I here to release? And what am I here to take forward and build in what I want? It has been so beautiful doing a reading for you, and you have a beautiful energy. I'm just going to pull I'm going to pull 2 Asha Frost's deck. She is a Indigenous from Canada and US. Yep, go ahead. You can ask one last question. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. So Asha Frost, so I'm pulling 1 is Animal Spirit, and 1 is, interesting. So I have 2 for you. It says, so first she has full spirit moon, and it's about shining your light. So overall, what is this about? Is about shining your light. That's what the King of Wands really looks at. Who is it you want to be? And to really start uncovering that and really start to embody it and shine who you are. Shine who you are to yourself first, to the ones you trust, and then start sharing that more freely as you embody and you really enjoy who you are, the Emperor. As you embody that, you're going to share that with more and more people with confidence. And that's what you're going to do. Now, the Elder Bear is also saying, rest your body. So I have 25-year-olds in my lovely home, and I can tell you, so it's saying, be careful. So rest your body, recognize where your body needs to rest, take care of itself, pushing too much. So take that heed, listen to your body, listen what it needs. Does it need food? Does it need good nutrients? Does it need a night of rest instead of going out? What does it need? Will I have a boyfriend soon from this job or outside new job? So your question is, am I going to find a partner? Okay, we're going to see. Well, I can say even from this, so first, just even from the other cards that I pulled, for you to get a partner, you first need to know who you are. So part of your homework is, can you look in your mirror and say, I love you? Can you look in your mirror and say, I am whole, I am worthy, all by myself without a partner, just all by yourself. You bring your own joy, you bring your own happiness, you bring your own fulfillment. So you are full and complete by yourself. So that's what that other part was talking about, the Emperor and the King of Wands. It's saying, do you know your light and do you love who that is? So that's where, so you have to go there. So that's your first homework. So I'm going to then ask, based on you doing that homework, or not doing the homework, let's find out. Because that's what I'm getting is, sometimes we want someone, because it's hard to be alone. We want someone to complete us. And so you have friendships, you have mates. So let's see about a boyfriend. So I just, this is a different tarot deck. Remember, why is that important? Because I'm seeing if there are cards that are coming through. So the answer is not right now. You still are in your tower moment. So as you've gone through, you still have to do this work of figuring out who you are. You still have to do this work about loving you and reflecting about what didn't work, what did work, and what is it you want? And what is it you want to give? Do you want a boyfriend to have fun with, to connect with? Do you want a love, a heartfelt love, a deep, deep connection? What is it you want? And the 10 of Wands is here. So the 10 of Wands is in protection. And it's talking about you have to do the work. You have to do the work, the homework that I just talked about, and then you're going to find someone. But you have to do the work first. And the Hanged One speaks about that. Another major arcana. The Hanged One is actually hanging from a tree. And it's getting us to recognize that we're in a sacred pause. So you had your tower moment. It's getting things really shifted and changed. Now you're doing the hard work of knowing who you are. And now you're going to be in this sacred pause of knowing who you are, doing this work and looking at things from a different perspective. Look at other relationships, heterosexual and homosexual. Which ones do you see? And what do you like about them? What do you like about these relationships when you look at them? What pieces? Start kind of almost collecting pieces. I've got this, like gathering what you like, gathering what you don't like. And it's really about that, the big rocks of what you want in a relationship and the big rocks that you don't want. And you have to understand why. You have to clearly to discern why you want it or why you don't want it. Okay, so you're saying, yeah, to have fun and to love myself, to be loyal. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. Yes. And because once you're fully, so how you're going to know is when you are fully, you actually don't, you now are shining like a light from within, this shine card. You are shining and you know who you are. All the people you meet, you embody who you are. And you love yourself completely, fully, and wholly. And now you know who you're going to connect with? Another person who is going to feel the same way about themselves, love themselves fully, completely, and wholly. And they're going to see your light and they're going to say, that's what I want. I want someone who shines that brightly. I want someone who loves themselves. And when I say this, so do I love myself? Yes. Do I continue to have to work on things? Yes. But for the most part, I would say 90% of who I am, I love. And I'm working on 10%. So you have to figure out your percentage. Are you at 50-50, 60-40, 70-30? You want to get to that point where you love yourself 80% of the time. And you're still working on stuff. We all are. That's to be human. That's to be alive. And from this love, that's why you're in this sacred pause. You're going to, because it's by doing this work, by doing the homework, you're going to see relationships differently. It's going to offer something new to you that you don't understand yet, because you have to do the work first. And it's from the work you're going to gain the wisdom and you're going to know how to move forward. And you're going to find the partner you want by moving forward. So I would now ask, so this is about you doing your work. So your work is homework, is working on yourself. And now I want you to look at the relationships around you. What do you like? What do you not like? So what is it? Once you notice the relationships that you like, I want you now to start healing yourself and loving yourself to be a whole person in that type of relationship. So my husband that I currently have, I needed to love myself. And when I met him in this good relationship, before that, I really struggled and I wasn't a strong woman. I thought that I had to please everyone. So I think this story is going to be important. I thought that, they're looking for a smiley person. They're looking for a giggly person. I'm a strong woman. I was principals of schools. I was principals of principals. I am a strong woman with a strong mind and a strong heart. And I tried to hide that before. And surprise, surprise, relationships didn't work. I had to learn to love my strength and love who I was and call in a partner who loved that. And that's exactly my husband. He loves my strength and he he supports where I'm growing. And actually, we're like yin and yang, and we fit each other like this. So I help him and he helps me. And so you have to do some of that work for yourself, and you will find a different perspective, and you're going to find the person you're looking for. So maybe if I wasn't reserved in Jebro, maybe I wouldn't be afraid to try to talk to people that got offended by my past or shady things I said before, because Scorpio are very hard to please. Yeah. Yeah. And I think you have to recognize, so why did you say things that offended people in the past? And where did that anger, frustration, or need to lash out come from? And you have to heal that. Because if you still have that darkness, that shade, then you have to wonder for yourself why. And you have to do that work. No one can do that for you. And otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to attract that same kind of darkness and shade. And you don't want that. You're just saying you want relationship with family. You want relationship that is in your wholeness and light. Yeah. Yeah. You're saying, and harsh on myself. If I love myself more, also, things wouldn't get to this ending that actually happened. Yes. Sometimes if we don't love ourselves, we actually will lash out to others. And so this is your homework, is before you can love someone else wholly and completely and in a good, healthy, loving relationship, you have to have this healthy relationship with you. And that's what the cards are saying. And the cards are bringing you the tower and saying, this is your moment. We brought you the tower. This is the divine telling you this work is for you. You have an opportunity right now to heal and to love yourself, and then take time in your sacred pause and practice having good relationships with people at the resort you're at, with your family. What are these good relationships? How do you work at that and practice good relationships? Practice getting friendship, being vulnerable, because a boyfriend, a heart connection with someone else in that romantic starts and is the foundation of a good friendship. So practice friendships. Practice that. Practice sharing who you are and loving who you are and believing that others will love and share that with you. It has been such a joy to do a reading for you. Oh, and you say, because for example, my last job, I took some commentaries to my heart, and I would always say or react like, oh, please, you don't say that. Yeah. So sometimes, yeah, having a filter is important. Yeah, it's hard for me because things I want to say, so I would call them my thought bubbles, things I wanted to say would perhaps have curses or, what are you talking about? And then things that I do say. Yeah, it's important to have a filter, and that's an important piece. Well, this has been absolutely wonderful. My blessings to you. I know I'm on every Wednesday at this time, so you're welcome to come back. And good luck. Drop me. I'm on Instagram at michellewright.co. So you can catch me there. I do coffee and cards every Monday and Friday, so I can do a reading for you there too. Yeah, just connect and continuing to send you blessings and love on your journey of this life. You're welcome. And for everyone else in the collective, take care. If you resonated with any of the aspects here about relationships, loving yourself, and the work of what we're trying to create for yourself, really listen to what thoughts, phrases, or images came in for you as you listen to this reading, because then we can get readings from someone else's for our own life and what that means for us. Until next Wednesday, have a wonderful week and keep leading with your soul.